It's been such a pleasure during our tenure here on Maui to be a part of this group. It's just great. It's so nice and uplifting to see a group of poets that listen and encourage each other, and I'm very grateful for that, so thank you. This first poem I'm going to do, I haven't read this in a very long time, so there's a chance it may be a little stiff in places, so I'm going to try to channel it through, but it's called Love Like the Highway. Last night, I cried like a drunk, hiccuped and sobbed myself to sleep until the alarm sounded this morning. My eyes are so dry that I can barely blink. My heart, like a good friend at a bar, says to my brain, "Hey man, I think you've had too much to think." I'm hung over my thoughts in the first folds of a new day, seared like a medium rare fillet, still bleeding in the middle. The little amount of sleep I got last night advertises itself like billboards below my eyeballs. 3 hours. In the shower, I am powerless and bending, pretending I have faith in baptism and in teas that market themselves stress relief. It matters to me that my beliefs shatter every time my heart does. It matters to me that after 4 times around, the machinery of my heartbeat continues to malfunction because I, the mechanic, can never seem to make things run, because I, the mechanic, am always the one running, fearing that falling in love means divorcing freedom and the open road, when actually the road tired long ago of fleeing stretched itself naked across deserts because it enjoyed seeing the underbellies of automobiles and the feeling of tires across its chest. See, the road understands that the best loves are the ones that can enjoy movement from a place of stillness. If I love you, I will never be still, because I will give you every last chunk of my heart, acquire a sudden case of amnesia, and then tear my chest apart looking for what's missing. Not remembering what it is I miss, I will fill that void with your kiss. Hang happiness on your lips until they stop speaking what I want them to say. Until the day you remind me that it was me who gave you the bloody heart to begin with. That it was me who trusted you with its keeping. That it was me who decided sleeping comfortable meant having you fetus shadowed behind me. Remind me that love should never make you feel like you need something back. Remind me that love should never be born of something we lack. Like Frida Kahlo, I am desperately trying to birth something that lasts beyond the first trimester, but all that adorns my walls are testaments of my failure. I know that woman could paint her way out of any pain. I know there is something to be gained from our art, but my heart has been ripped out and passed around so many times that I fear one day my chest will deny its re-entry. The sentry of its chamber will turn a blind eye, while I, the hopeless mechanic, try to write my way out of the wrong arms once again. My pen will suture words across my chest and attempt to keep my heart where it belongs until it decides that it is strong enough to love without leaving itself. Until it decides to love like the highway does, freely, enjoying the underbellies of automobiles and the feeling of tires across its chest.
Beautiful, thank you. And if anyone's cell is on, please turn it off.
So this one is another older one. It's called Spiritual Result. Rumi says that when two unite in love or hate, the intense qualities born of such joining appear in the spiritual world. Be aware of this. A man and a woman together always have a spiritual result. After I read that, I thought of all the times our bodies collided like intersections. In the fabric of space-time, our history must look like a map of lines and crucifixes, X's marking spots where we fought through our bodies to be back to what form can never hold for very long. Our story is a song of unfolding. The unseen spiritual result appears every day in the holding of mundane observance. As I fold my laundry, rolling socks and creasing pants, I think of all the chances we must have missed to kiss what is sacred through our naked skin. I remember painting dusk in throes of passion, and how we must have fashioned ghost children in unseen midnights, spilled seed in the bright of my belly button bearing progeny in other worlds, unused sperm rising like electric worms that bravely morph into monarch wings and fly off to a land of kings where things unseen are left to dream indefinitely in pristine pastures of azure, where the intricacies of our conversations hang timeless on the belt of Orion, constructing Zion from an alphabet of moons in eclipse, where letters only get better because they are transferred through lips that kiss their existence into script. I remember how our tongue-tipped intelligent exchanges wallpapered our existence through the numerous changes we fostered in one another, how together we mothered shifts of focus, bore crocus flowers in galaxies far, far away. I remember the way your words held me, folded around me like origami paper, gave me the sense I would always be safe as a paper crane, and if I could pay you back, I would gift you 1,000 splendid names echoing in the whisper of canyons. I would lay this poetry at the foot of a creek with the humble request that it speak to lovers tempted to leave each other for things unseen, to convince them to believe in the honesty of fallen leaves and not let each other go, because you will never know how much I miss you. You will never see how I kiss you in spaces you used to inhabit, how I chase your ghost in a vain attempt to grab it and pin it in a place that never decomposes roses and clover, where there are no ghosts of silence repeating the mantra, it's over, over, and over, and over again. You bleed out of my memory and into my pen, and I enter alone again into darkness, watch helplessly as night falls and scrapes its knee on the dawn. You are gone, drawn behind the shade of a love that fades into a mystery of things hidden. The fruit of our union is once again forbidden, is taken prematurely from the tree, forsaken in the futility of attempt. We have inherited graveyards, and it is so hard living with phantoms, because they moan ceaselessly in the hollows of our bones, throw stones to remind us of such things as scars on our shoulder blades where there should have been wings, and Rumi was right. Love does bring a spiritual result. For our union bore communion with angels who do not forget so easily the bonds of our words and flesh. Thank you. And this one, I wrote for my husband. Oh man, I freaking love you.
We're figuring out you have a lot of love.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I'm convinced that the first time God saw your dimples, he mistook them for parentheses, enclosing a smile with teeth that read, bright. The Creator became inspired by the presence of so much light glowing between those two perfectly crafted lines that he took a divine hand to the sun and began slicing tiny gashes. Took every single one of those little cuts and then fashioned them into the quills of your eyelashes, because the intensity of your gaze, man, gives me hot flashes. Every time you blink, I feel the ink of my pen pouring from your eyes like they are an endless well of inspiration. You have the vibration of an African drum. In your kiss, I feel the rhythm of where we come from, and this percussion gives me goosebumps. Turns the stumps of my arm hair into a chorus of standing trees. You could resurrect the felled rainforests of Borneo with one easy suggestion from your mouth. You are a breeze tinted with iridescence, the kind typically reserved for exotic butterflies. You reek of rare. They ought to put you on the endangered species list as one of the few remaining men who can still wear grace as camouflage for strength so grounded its roots wrap around the earth's core. You are a creature whose survival is worth fighting for. You are so needed on this planet that I've actually considered scoring my womb into a garden so that I might help produce more ewes. You are a dance floor nicked with grooves. You hold organs inside the cathedral of your belly. It is through the hymn of your breath I learn how light moves, how it cuts laser smooth like the wings of a stingray slicing through water. I could watch you swim for hours below the surface glitter of ocean, the motion of your touch seducing waves into submission. Now I know how the crocodile hunter went out. I understand the danger of diving heart first in after things we love. There is a poisonous barb below every wave's crest, just waiting to pierce our breastplates into spades that bleed darkness over everything. It is entirely possible that you could wage genocide on the star population, line them up and shoot them one by one out of my eyes until the sky cries and covers the earth in silver, but I would still find the lining. The stars have been outshining this universe for too long anyway, and when I wrap around you, I know I am grasping something too beautifully big to hold. See, hugging you, it's like hugging a redwood tree. You make me feel small in such a good way. Around you every day is fee-fi-fo-fum giant, exaggerated. This new brilliance is beanstalk brilliant. It's reaching, twisting, sinuous and sensual like twine intertwining, so not as to strangle, but to uphold. We are the invisible workman's hands, tying, securing, building the scaffolding so that Michelangelo might lay on our backs and paint heaven on us. Woo! So maybe just one more.
10 more.
I didn't like prepare probably as well as I should have, but I'm gonna read this one because I wrote it in Hawaii and it's kind of summed my experience up until now, which has changed since I wrote it, but I don't even think this one has a title yet. Drunk on honey, a bumblebee somersaults inside a squash blossom. Last night the rain pulled tongues from flowers, so the garden this morning is a circus of mouths poised in various postures of delight. Once the chickens have been fed, the farm will resume its quiet. Mellow hues fusing into the distant Pacific, the shoulders of Lanai, the jagged rise of the West Maui Mountains climbing toward a sky that is a pale shade of uncertain. A subtle blue that once felt like possible, now a taunting stretch of what I cannot have. The spiders up at JP's house show no such concern. Strung under a map of the zodiac, they devote themselves to learning the angles of Scorpio, spinning silver into their next meal. But I know what that moth feels. Wings caught in the taut strings of the invisible. It will be devoured on its quest toward the light. At night, I am dreaming the volcanoes rumble, the lip of Haleakala spilling its fire down the ranch land of Ulapalakua. What mouthfuls of vowels the Hawaiians stretch inside their consonants. I suppose it is a way of preserving awe, of tucking the sacred inside the language, but I do not yet speak archipelago. I do not know the syntax of surrender or how to be surrounded by so much impossible space, so these days I spend my time watching bumblebees, somersaulting inside squash blossoms, listening to the farmer string jewels on the décolleté of his violin, wishing I could feel drunk inside of this abundance instead of locked against forces that are delaying my forward. Had my dreams hijacked my purpose? When I threw my roots to the ocean, did I not expect she would chew me in her churn, demanding I learn the mechanics of the toss? If we do not soften, we break. So tell me, fruit, how did sweetness ever emerge from the ache of ripening?